More than 250,000 Korean cultural treasures are thought to be dispersed overseas, a legacy of past theft, looting, gifts, and acquisitions. Around 43% of these artifacts are reported to reside in Japan, with the rest scattered across the globe.
과거 도난, 약탈, 선물, 구매 등으로 해외에 흩어진 한국 문화유산이 25만 점 이상인 것으로 집계됐습니다. 이 가운데 약 43%는 일본에 있는 것으로 나타났습니다. 250,000, a staggering number, and this number is increasing every year as the research progresses and we increasingly locate new, previously unknown artifacts.
Yes, this was surprising. I didn't realize that more cases were popping up, but there were about 150,000 items in 2013. That number grew to over 200,000 in 2021. And now, like you said, it's over 250,000. But it's a little complicated how these different items got there.
Exactly.
So I think we kind of have heard a lot about the theft and the looting, these items leaving the Korean peninsula. But some of them have also been gifts.
Yeah.
They've been purchased by museums or individuals, or maybe even Korean people that have moved to other countries, taken their items that have then passed on to other people.
And then later donated to a local museum.
Right, yeah. So there is some complicated history in finding these items and how do we get them back? You know, all of that is a discussion that has to be taken with each individual item.
Right.
Yeah.
So as you mentioned, there is a question, how did it get there in the first place? 19, 20세기에는 도난이나 약탈된 경우가 많지만, as you mentioned, 정상적인 거래, 선물에 의한 반출도 여럿 있다고 합니다. Now, as we mentioned in the headlines, the number one country in terms of possessing these artifacts is our neighbor Japan.
Yes, indeed. Of course, from a just geographic standpoint, that makes sense. But of course, the history between the two countries obviously gives a reason for that number being so high. A lot of these items are in private collections and the Tokyo National Museum as well. You can see some Korean cultural items there. Also on the list, next is the U.S. They also have some. And I was surprised by this. Germany is number 3.
Yeah.
But now that I think about it, like in the 60s and 70s, I think there were a lot of nurses and miners that went over to Germany. So maybe that accounts for some of those. And UK is 4th.
Right.
Yeah.
그래서 나라별로 보면 일본이 전체의 약 43%를 갖고 있고요. 그 다음에는 미국과 독일, 영국 순입니다.
Yes. The great thing is there is a trend. Some of these are being brought back. Some Buddhist paintings. And I remember talking about this on the news last year. 관월당 is a building, an entire building that was in Japan that is being repatriated back to Korea.
It was dismantled, wasn't it, into individual pieces and then reassembled once it got back here.
Right. And they're having to research it. They know it's a Korean building. They don't know exactly where it went. So they're going through historical documents right now, trying to find out where did this building go so we can put it back in its right place.
Right. Okay, let's have a look at this word. Looting. And how is it different from theft or stealing?
Yeah, so looting, there is an image that there is some type of disaster or even war. The image I get is people have left a city and the only people that remain go through all of the stores.
The empty stores.
Yeah. So stealing feels like maybe the person is still there and you take it from them. Looting feels like, well, nobody's here. I'm just going to take it.
Right. So looting, in the case of looting, there is an external factor that's causing chaos.
Yes.
Stealing, you are the only one causing the chaos if you're the one stealing. That's the difference in the two situations.
Yeah, so looting can have the feeling of it being what we say opportunistic.
Yes.
You didn't cause the chaos, but now that the chaos is there, you're gonna take it.
You're making the most of the opportunity.
Yeah.
약탈 행위를 looting이라고 합니다. Looting. Here's the article again. More than 250,000 Korean cultural treasures are thought to be dispersed overseas, a legacy of past theft, looting, gifts, and acquisitions. Around 43% of these artifacts are reported to reside in Japan, with the rest scattered across the globe. On to kimchi news and more dietary guidelines.
Kimchi is being spotlighted as a real food, having been included as a fermented item in the U.S. government's latest dietary guidelines. Meanwhile, unhealthy, ultra-processed foods continue to be flagged as a cause for concern.
김치가 미국 정부의 최신 식단 지침의 발효식품으로 포함되며 진짜 음식으로 주목받고 있습니다. 반면 건강에 해로운 초가공식품은 여전히 문제로 지적되고 있습니다. We did talk about this last time, about it being included in the US DGA, Dietary Guidelines for Americans. And as a result, we are seeing schools getting involved in the fun of kimchi making.
Yes, indeed. It's a little sad we have a category now, real food, 진짜 음식, but that is the world we live in. But thankfully, with these dietary guidelines, including kimchi, there was a school in Manhattan, New York, where about 80 to 100 students did some kimjang.
Yeah.
They did a kimchi making event, the pictures I'm seeing of them making it looks like legitimate kimchi.
They look like they are having a lot of fun, and they did a vote after making the kimchi, whether they wanted to incorporate this into their school menu.
Oh.
학교 급식에 이 김치를 넣는 것에 대한 vote를 이제 투표를 진행했는데 학생의 90% 이상이 학교 급식에 넣는 것에 대해 찬성했다고 합니다.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, everyone, it's really interesting. When I came to Korea at the beginning, kimchi was either not heard of or seen as a scary food. But now there are so many people that are interested in kimchi or are trying it. However, unfortunately, even though kimchi is considered a real food, there are these ultra-processed foods.
So they are not fake foods, but they are very, very, very processed. And maybe your ancestors won't recognize them.
Yeah, one in particular, hot dogs, sodas, those types of things are seen as really being awful for your health. And one study done by the University of Michigan said that one hot dog, it actually decreases your lifespan by 36.3 minutes.
아니, University of Michigan 연구팀의 분석 결과 핫도그 하나를 섭취할 때 건강 수명 36분이 감소되는 것으로 조사됐습니다.
Gosh, I just think about those, you know, the hot dog eating contest
Yes.
in New York? They eat so many hot dogs.
You do the math.
They don't have much longer.
Exactly.
Go to the hospital quick. Oh,
All
my
right.
goodness.
So that was an example of an ultra-processed food. What is that?
So an ultra-processed food is a food that is very far away from the farm. It is very far away from the ranch. So kimchi, you can see the food and you know what the food is.
Right, you can guess the original ingredients.
Yeah, it is the 무. It is
배추.
the pa. Yeah, right? But an ultra-processed food has gone through many stages of heat being applied, of chemicals being added, so that you can't look at it many times and even know what's in it.
Exactly. 초가공식품, 라면, 탄산음료, 과자 등이 ultra-processed foods이고요. And if something is flagged, what does that mean?
So flagged mean it's being warned. There's a warning put up. It's kind of labeled as, hey, this is a problem. You need to look at it. So this flag, sometimes in like email programs, you'll see like a red flag pop up
Right.
for like a dangerous looking email.
Right. So in that case, it's flagged as being spam Or if it's important from an important saved email address, it's flagged as being important.
Right. It's not always a bad thing, but it is something, hey, look at this. This
Yeah,
is
important.
something you need to look at. Yeah.
Exactly. Be flagged. 경고 표시되다, 문제로 지적되다. Kimchi is being spotlighted as a real food, having been included as a fermented item in the US government's latest dietary guidelines. Meanwhile, unhealthy, ultra-processed foods continue to be flagged as a cause for concern.